द्युत्यद्भानुसहस्रकोटिसदृशां केयूरहारोज्ज्वलां बिम्बोष्टीं स्मितदन्तपङ्क्तिरुचिरां पीताम्बरालङ्कृतां विष्णुब्रह्मसुरेन्द्रदेवितपदां तत्त्वस्वरूपां शिवां मीनाक्षीं प्रणतोऽस्मि सन्ततमहं कारुण्यवारानिधिं मीनाक्षीं प्रणतोऽस्मि सन्ततमहं कारुण्यवारानिधिं मीनाक्षीं प्रणतोऽस्मि सन्ततमहं कारुण्यवारानिधिम्.
That was indeed a soulful rendition. Mr. Uma Karan, chairman of Gitanjali Group of Schools, has always been an embodiment of strength to us. Mrs. Geeta Karan, director of Gitanjali Group of School, is the guiding force from whom we derive our moral strength and determination to excel in future. We extend a warm welcome to our dynamic and proactive Managing Director, Mr. Jay Karan. We thank Mrs. Madhvi Chandra, Associate Director and Principal, Gitanjali Devshala, and Mrs. Natasha Karan, Board Member of Gitanjali School, Pre-Primary and Primary Head of Gitanjali Devkul and Gitanjali Vedika. Dr. Naval Chandra, Executive Committee Member, who have always made their mark with every passing day as visionaries with sound judgment. We extend a warm welcome to our respected principal, Mrs. Maya Sukumaran, and the entire Gitanjali family who have congregated here today. May I request Mr. Jayakaran sir to kindly address the gathering.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here for this event. Science has always been a subject that's sort of dear to my heart. I'm an engineer by profession, and so of course I studied sciences in my schooling, and it never really leaves you, because as you were talking about, it's the curiosity and the creativity that come about from learning sciences. Now, many people don't associate creativity with science, but even today, when we look at the theme of today's topic, we are combining science with sports, and there is a lot of, and that itself is sort of a creative application of science. And science has so many applications that can be very creative, and I'm looking forward today to see what the children have for us to observe and see how they have applied their creativity in science. And with that, I'd like to just keep it short and thank you all, the senior school team, for putting together this function, and for all the participants for taking part in it. It is something I am looking forward to, and I think we will just get on with that. So thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. It is very heartening to know that you do resonate our thoughts that science is not just education, but a way of life. Can an online experience ever replace that of a physical exhibition? Many have been grappling with this question. Gitanjali Senior School takes pride in presenting Vigyan Samavisht and experiential learning. There is no true understanding of biology without chemistry. There is no true comprehension of chemistry without physics. Vigyan Samavisht serves as a platform wherein the different disciplines of science integrate to create the relevance of science applicable to our daily life.
The circulatory system are roadways that travel in various directions to keep things going where they should. So let's watch the pathway.
These are two models of the heart. The materials required to make this one are just clay and paint. The materials required to make this one are cardboard, paper, and color. Located at the center of the chest and in the thoracic cavity, the heart can be divided into 4 parts which are otherwise known as chambers, each one of which contains several valves. 2 of these chambers, which are called the atria, are located in the upper portion of the heart, right here. They receive oxygen-free blood. The valves that separate these chambers are called atrioventricular valves, which are composed of the tricuspid valve on the left and the mitral valve on the right.
Several anatomical studies have estimated that the total of approximately 5.6 liters of blood circulate the body, with 3 cardiac cycles completed each minute. The primary responsibility of the heart is to pump blood throughout the circulatory system. As the center of the circulatory system, the heart is an essential organ for maintaining the overall function of the body. Now let us see how the pumping of the blood happens.
This bottle represents the atrium, this bottle represents the ventricle, and this bottle represents the body. These straws here represent the valves. When we squeeze the valves or the straws and squeeze the ventricle or this bottle a bit, the water, the blood or the water pumps itself into the body, as you can see here. See, slowly the water is dripping. Materials required for making this project are 3 water bottles, 2 bottle caps, 4 straws, tape, water, red food coloring, Play-Doh or hot glue. The heart's blood pumping cycle, which is called the cardiac cycle, begins when oxygen-free blood returns to the heart through the right atrium after distributing oxygen and nutrients to other parts of the body. The blood then moves into the right ventricle, which facilitates a transfer of blood into the lungs. Within the lungs, all waste gases such as carbon dioxide are released from the blood while also deoxygenating the blood for its return to circulation. Oxygen-rich blood returns to the heart through the left atrium and eventually into the left ventricle. This chamber then pumps blood into other organs of the body through the aorta. After reaching each of the organs, deoxygenated blood leaves these organs through their respective veins until finally reaching the heart through the superior and inferior vena cavae, depending upon the organ.
Greetings to one and all. Today, Tanish Rao Padala, Lolgu Sri Vishnu Tanay and myself, Pranav Kumar Padma, are here to show double circulation of our human heart.
What do you mean by double circulation? A heart is divided into 4 chambers. Left auricle, left ventricle, right auricle, right ventricle. Blood flows twice from the heart before it completes one full round of circulation through the body.
Today, me and my friends have made a model that explains the process of double circulation.
In the organs, the deoxygenated blood enters the heart through the superior and inferior vena cava. Deoxygenated blood enters the heart through the superior and inferior vena cava. They enter the right auricle. Once the right auricle fills up, the valves open, the tricuspid valve. Now they enter the right ventricle. Once the right ventricle is filled up, the pulmonary valve opens and the pulmonary artery takes the deoxygenated blood to the lungs to make it oxidized. Once the deoxygenated blood is oxygenated, the blood flows to the heart from the pulmonary vein.
We must say that we owe our existence to this pathway. Another beginning, another shower of light, another day to discover, another lesson of life, thanks to our photoreceptors.
Of Clytie and Apollo. Good morning everyone, me Subhanay from class 70 of Gitanjali School is here today to present to you a video on an electronic sunflower. A maker is always sensitive to new and funny things in a day. I watched a video in which a sunflower moves along with the sun I had a sudden insight, then why can't I make an electronic device imitating this biomechanism? I selected an Arduino Uno, a breadboard. An SG90 servo, 2 photoresistors, and a few jumper wires. Photoresistors, on being exposed to light, decreases resistance. As a result, more electrons move and makes the sunflower to move. In addition to the movement of sunflower, light also accelerates the rate of photosynthesis by exciting the electrons and making it rapidly move more. I coded the Arduino, which is a microcontroller, in order to make the sunflower turn towards the light. The servo motor helps the flower to turn 180 degrees as to east and west. Let me show you how it works. So, as you can see here, if I put a light here, the sunflower moves towards the light. And if I keep it on the other side, it moves towards the light.
With the energy derived from light, let us get to know how there undergoes a fine blend of structure and function in the biomechanics of the living ecosystem.
Good morning everyone, this is Blessy from Class 11 Science Team A. I, along with my friends Kashyaseet and Karthik, would like to present a short video on sport biomechanics.
While playing a ground tennis, the forehand stroke is widely used to deflect balls across the court. You might have seen that tennis players play either with a bent forehand or a straight forehand, but which one's the best? A bent forehand. It provides more control, more flexibility, less stress and less chance of injury than a straight forehand.
How did I know this? Sport biomechanics. It is a field of science that focuses on analyzing and assessing the mechanics of human movement. Understanding and applying it during sport movements makes human movement effective and provides the best technique.
Basketball is a game of biomechanics using the parties are simply appropriable and code without biomechanics. So in a course over, you quickly change the direction, and if your opponent go in the opposite way, the latter pushes involved are enough to cause an extreme hypertonic flexion, dependence, ankle joint. In a jump shot, I impart the push into the ground and the pushes from my calves, quads, arms, and quads and hands all add up to give me a perfectly vertical jump and give that push to the ball in a jump shot. That push could be up to 2000 Newton.
How can biomechanics be used in sports? Sports biomechanics is a subfield within biomechanics and is its own branch of human and biological science. Essentially, sport and exercise biomechanics is focused on analyzing the psychological mechanics of human movement. This includes analysis of how forces interact and the effects these forces.
The mechanics involved in generation of energy is within us, which is the essence of life. Let's experience it.
Hello, I'm Aditi Shantvi Rupin of Class 7E and I'll be explaining my working model of the respiratory system. So this is my working model of the respiratory system, which basically shows how the lungs work with the help of the diaphragm. So this balloon below is the diaphragm, a strong muscle that expands and contracts to cause the lungs fill in with air. The movement of these balloons match to your breathing. Like you see, when we inhale, the lungs are filled with air, and when we exhale, the air is pushed out of the lungs. This occurs because the diaphragm expands, making space for the lungs filled with the air. And when we breathe out, the diaphragm contracts or squeezes in, pushing the air out of the lungs. So this diaphragm is the major part of our respiratory system. It separates the abdominal cavity from entering our chest. So if any serious damage is caused to the diaphragm, then our abdominal cavity start entering in our chest, and which do not allow the lungs to work properly, which may lead the patient in a very serious condition. Now, the diaphragm also plays a very important role in breathing. Now, as you know, the diaphragm expands and contracts, making space for the lungs filled in with air. So, if this diaphragm is in a still position, then you see, now I inhale in, you can see that my lungs are not getting enough space to expand. And again, I'm not able to breathe properly or conveniently.
For the biomechanics of life, breathing plays a vital role, which is governed by laws of science.
Let us perform an activity for Boyle's law. For this, you will need 2 empty bottles, 2 straws, 1 balloon, and 1 bottle filled with water. Make 1 hole on each side of bottle and insert the straw as shown. Now, fill 1 bottle with water. Now blow up a balloon. As you can clearly hear that the water from the bottle is moving to the straw to the other bottle. Now as the air inside the balloon is released into the bottle filled with water, the pressure inside is increased, so the volume will decrease, making the water inside the bottle enter through the straw and thus transferring the water to the other bottle. Application of Boyle's law in our daily life: breathing, working of a syringe.
Materials required: warm water, glass bottle, balloon and cold water. Procedure: first we have to put the bottle in warm water.
We can observe that the balloon has inflated. Now, as we put the bottle in the cold water, we are decreasing the temperature of the air present in the bottle. Observe that the balloon deflates. We can prove Charles' law that temperature is directly proportional to the volume.
Applications of Charles' law in our daily lives: tires, yeast.
To experience the charm of outdoor, which is a rarity nowadays, let us trend into a world of traditional sports of India. It is a way of connecting to our nature through culture.
Vallamkalli is a traditional boat race in Kerala, India. It is a form of canoe racing and uses paddled war canoes. It is mainly conducted during the season of the harvest festival, Onam, in spring. Vallamkalli includes races of many kinds of paddle longboats and snakeboats. Each team spends about 6 lakh rupees for the Nehru Trophy.
The race Chandan Vallam is the major event. Hence, Vallamkalli is also known as snakeboat, and it is the major attraction of tourists.
In Kerala, during an early 13th century war between the feudal kingdoms of Kayamkulam and Chembakasari, the main use of this boat here was to transport ammunition. To keep the soldiers fit, this boat race was conducted every year.
Is a contraption which floats in water due to buoyancy. A longer and slimmer boat will create less resistance in the water, as it creates less displacement and less turbulence, thus promoting a smooth sail. And Any variation that tends to create an up and down force on the hull will make it more resistant in the water. A large flat-shaped paddle is designed to optimize the efficiency of the rower. As the weight inside the boat is increased by loading of more people, there can be a shift from stable to unstable equilibrium. In order to maintain the equilibrium, the boatsmen sit in a zigzag manner. The paddle is a class 3 lever, helps them propel the boat forward by pushing the water backward. Here we see that the Newton's third law of motion is coming into play. The weight of the water displaced must be equal to the entire weight of the boat and boatsmen as per the Archimedes principle. Smooth, level, rhythmic movement of the paddle is necessary for non-turbulent motion and float. This coordination is achieved by loud singing of songs which are termed as Vanjipata, or boat songs which have definite spot in lyrics to do the act of paddling together. The change in the tempo automatically ensures the change in the speed. We have replicated the snake boat and made it move in water using a DC motor. Thank you.
Hello, one and all. Today, Neev Lakshya and me Preetham from CP7 are going to present a video on the physics behind traditional Indian games. So what are you waiting for? Let's get started.
Kho-Kho is a traditional Indian sport that is one of the oldest outdoor sports dating back to ancient India. As you can see in the picture, there are some kids sitting down who are waiting for the chaser to touch them so they can become the new chaser. This is called potential energy. When the kid is touched by the other chaser, he becomes a new chaser, so he needs to chase the runner. So he runs, which is kinetic energy. Sometimes the runner can run into spaces between the kids sitting, but the chaser has to always run in a circular motion, so he can't run into gaps. So this game contains rectilinear and circular motion.
Which game should we play today? Let's play Gilli Danda.
What is Gilli Danda?
Gilli Danda is an Indian traditional game. It is the older version of cricket and baseball. It has many regional variations. It is played with two sticks. The shorter one is called Gilli and the longer one is called Danda. Seems fun. Let's play.
Hey, did you realize that there was physics when we were playing Gilli Danda? Oh yeah! It involves gravity.
When we hit the gilli, it falls down due to the gravitational force.
It involves friction too.
When we are holding the danda, it stays firmly in our hands because of friction.
It involves force too.
When we hit the gilli, it moves due to force.
Hope you enjoyed our video and gained some knowledge.
Let's watch the budding physicist of Gitanjali unleash the power of air.
Drag force, velocity decreased, path disturbed. What are all these terms? I don't understand. Also, why are splitters, spoilers, wings in sports car used?
To understand all of these, you need to know what aerodynamics is.
Bicycle racers are aware of the problem of wind resistance and over the years have developed techniques for reducing it.
When racing cyclists aim to reach high speeds, they not only focus on greater power, which has its human limitations, but also greater aerodynamic efficiency.
With the high pressure in the front and low pressure behind, the cyclist is literally being pulled backwards. Streamlined designers help the air close more smoothly around these bodies and reduce pressure drag.
Now let me introduce you to this model. This model contains 4 main features, which are wings, splitters, raindrop-like shape and a low ground clearance, which help in reducing the drag and the lift forces.
Now I'm going to demonstrate this high aerodynamic sports car. As you can see, when air is blown over the sports car, no effect is to be seen. But when we blow the same air over the bus, we see that the bus moves or shakes a bit back, showing that it experiences a greater drag force due to its less aerodynamic nature.
Hydrodynamics and aerodynamics in river rafting.
Basic states of flowing water exist: laminar, turbulent and chaotic. Laminar, surface water is slowed by wind while deep currents are slowed by friction with the riverbed. Turbulent occurs when obstacles such as rocks or a sudden narrowing of the river channel obstruct the current flow. Chaotic, water crashing over a submerged ledge or rock and creates a hole, creating a horizontal vortex underwater that actually rotates in an upward stream direction.
Buoyancy. Buoyancy is a force exerted by liquid, gas or any other fluid that opposes an object's weight.
The physics behind sailing is very interesting. The answer lies in the most well-known principle of aerodynamic lift and shake. Imagine you're a passenger in a car as it's moving along, and you place your right hand up at the window. If you tilt your hand in a clockwise sense, your hand will be pushed backwards and up. This is due to the force of the air, which has a sideward component and an upward component. To move forward instead of sideways is accomplished with a keel located under the sailboat. The keel provides the counter force necessary to resist sideways motion of the sailboat as much as possible. As the front of the raft is tapered, the sailboat is easily able to displace water with less force. Thus, the physics of sailing involves the interaction of the water and the keel and the interaction of the wind and the sails.
The fundamental components of badminton are shuttlecock, racket, and grip.
Holding the shuttlecock still in one hand, the arm holding the racket must be retracted in order to give the racket potential energy that will allow it to propel the cock. Now the player must swing his arms forward, transforming potential energy into strong kinetic energy, simultaneously dropping the cock from his hand. The movement depends on Newton's second law of motion, in which exerting more force increases the acceleration. Here Newton's first law is also applied because the cock does not move unless hit with the racket. The cock does not travel in a perfect projectile motion. This is because of aerodynamics. There is always a drag acting upon the cock, as it was designed to be a high drag projectile. As the drag increases, velocity will die out and the cock will start falling towards the ground due to gravity.
Professional badminton championships have taken place indoors because there is consistent airflow and no air drag to put the shuttle off course. When standing still, our body aren't able to transfer lots of energy into a shot. By shifting our weight, we can build up momentum. This momentum releases energy and if done smoothly can help to create a really powerful shot without using a whole heap of effort.
We explore a must-have shoe for a sportsman to optimize the output energy with minimum effort.
As you can see, there are 3 things that make this 3D model of a shoe different from the normal shoe. First is the sole of the shoe, which has metal spikes, studs, and normal spikes. Second is the color of the shoe, which is white, which therefore insulates the player from the heat of the sun. And the third is the material the shoe is made of, which adds protection through this ingenious way. This is a zoomed in version of the leather of the shoe. So if this is the ball and the ball hits the shoe, the kinetic energy of the ball is converted into potential energy and back into kinetic energy towards the ball, therefore protecting the player from injury.
The number of spikes present on the shoe, depending on the type of player, can vary. For example, in the case of a batsman who already have the additional grip of the pitch require less metal spikes and spikes, while the fielders who are on a grassy terrain with dew factors also affecting them require a few more spikes and metal spikes. For grip
and safety.
For a fit body and mind, one needs to eat right and burn extra. We have some guidelines.
These days, there are a million things out there that can be eaten from wheat to escargot. I could say that there are more food options in the world than there are the stars. But of course, like the chess game, each food is different in various aspects, like nutrients, taste, growth time, growth rate, and conditions. The food has been diversified, and a new class termed as the junk food has arisen. The consumption of junk food has also risen, especially in the recent pandemic. Therefore, it is crucial for all of us humans to know more about the food we eat, the level of carbs or proteins or vitamins or even minerals and fats in the food. Collecting all this information where every drop is accurate very difficult since facts are very hard to extract. With this in mind, Sai Sharan Vallapuram, Hriday Agarwal, Yuvraj and myself Padma Pranav Kumar have made this app.
This is the main page for our application titled the Nutrient Calculator. As you can see, there are three different options on the main page. One is the Want Help option, which takes you to the page with the detailed instructions on how to use our app. You can go back. The second option is the Credits option. This takes you to the page with the names of all the students who have contributed to make this app and also the motives of our app. The back option is present. To open the database of our application, you can press the Open button. In our database, there are a total of 64 different food items that you can learn about. You can learn about their nutrient value and their calorific value. To easily navigate between them, we have divided all the food items into 5 main groups: the fruits, the vegetables, the vegetarian meals, the non-vegetarian meals, and finally, the grains. Suppose you want to know more about broccoli. You can press the vegetables section since broccoli is a vegetable. You can either search for it or find it on the list. Here you can see that the vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients of broccoli are present in this page. It is important to note that all the food items are present at 100 grams each. You can go back and suppose you want to know more about puri. You can go to vegetarian meals and search for puri. Here you go. You can see all the important nutrients of puri at 100 grams. This app allows you to easily navigate and find information quickly and efficiently. This app is simple and effective and ensures that we can pick apart what we eat to its core.
Hello everyone, we the students of class 9 have designed an app called Let's Burn Extra to calculate all the calories burned by you. First of all, what is a calorie? The energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water through 1 degree Celsius is called a calorie. It is often used to measure the energy value of food. So how are these calories burned? About 10% of the calories from the carbohydrates and proteins we eat are used up in the absorption and digestion of the food and nutrients. Physical activities like playing tennis, walking to the store, chasing a dog or any other movement accounts for the rest of the calories burnt by us. Physical activity being a variant factor makes it difficult to calculate the calories burnt by us each day. This difficulty can be overcome by using our app, Let's Burn Extra.
Welcome to our app, Let's Burn Extra. We have created this app using the Scratch platform. Our app calculates the number of calories burned in various activities. The features of the app are a calorie burnt calculator and a database containing the number of calories burned in various activities in a minute. First, let's see the calories burned during various activities. Now, two subsections appear: sports and daily activities. In sports, a menu of the common sports we play these days appears. To get the information, simply click on one of the categories. Example, badminton. A table appears. There are two rows: the weight of the person and the average calories burned in a minute while playing the sport. Example, if you weigh 40 kilograms, then the average calories you burned while playing the sport is 4 to 5 calories. Click on the back button to go to the menu. Now, coming to daily activities, same as before, a menu of the common exercises and the activities we do these days appears. As told before, to get the information, select any category, example yoga. A table appears containing the weight of the person and the average calories burned while doing that activity in a minute. Example, if you weigh 40 kilograms, then you burn 2 to 3 calories in a minute.
Let's click on the calories burned calculator option. Now choose the activity you want to perform. Example, bicycling. Enter your weight in kilograms. Say, I enter 55 kgs. Now, click on the start button and then start performing your activity. For demo purpose, say you did bicycling for 10 seconds. Then click on stop button once you're done. The app will calculate the average calories that you have burnt by doing bicycling. Hope now you understood how this app works.
So our Simple Wellness mobile app provides awareness on the calories burned to manage your body weight. As we all know, COVID has reminded us again that health is wealth, and we all need to give first priority to our health. Happy well-being. Thank you.
Let us see how the right food requires right nutrients and also the right way of cultivation and storage.
Today, we students of Cambridge will be discussing the topic of DNA and genetic engineering while correlating advancements in organic farming. So, to begin with, what is DNA? DNA is present in every cell of living organisms.
Genetic engineering is defined as a process that alters the genetic makeup of an organism by either removing or introducing DNA. Plants, animals, or microorganisms that have changed through genetic engineering are called GMOs. Example, cattle, pigs, chicken, goat, dogs, etc.
What is organic farming and its benefits? Compared with conventional agriculture, organic farming uses fewer pesticides, reduces soil erosion. Why is genetic engineering not used in organic farming? Genetic engineering is perceived as a risk-laden technology which does not fit into the holistic worldview of organic agriculture.
DNA is used in genetic engineering with the purpose of altering the gene makeup of organism.
So now we will be discussing the major advancements of genetic engineering in today's time. Some of these advancements may include genome editing, synthetic DNA components, and artificial intelligence. Genetic engineering has its own drawbacks as well. And primarily, the most common drawback is that the nutritional value of food can be less when compared to naturally grown food.
Have you ever wondered how a refrigerator works? It works on two laws, which are the Gay-Lussac's law and the second law of thermodynamics. It uses a compound which is usually in a gaseous or a liquid state and is used to maintain coolness in the refrigerator. It is known as a refrigerant. Examples are Freon and CFC gases. But it also has an adverse impact on the atmosphere. It causes ozone depletion and global warming.
The four major components of a refrigerator are compressor, throttling device, evaporator, and a condenser. Let us learn their working step by step. For effective throttling, a refrigerant should be taken in a liquid state at high pressure. When it passes the other end of the throttling device, it experiences a significant decline in both pressure and temperature. Now, this cooled liquid needs to be passed over the objects that need to be cooled in a refrigerator. This is done by using a heat exchanger called evaporator. It follows the second law of thermodynamics because the refrigerant, though being cool in nature, absorbs heat from the hot bodies kept in the refrigerator, and in doing so, due to heat absorption, it gets changed into the vapor state. To make the cooling effect more efficient and to make it a cycle, we convert the low pressure vapor into a high pressure liquid. We do it in two steps. First, we use a compressor which compresses the liquid and also increases its temperature. Then, we use a condenser which converts the hot low pressure vapor into a high pressure liquid by losing its heat to the atmosphere. We repeat this cycle again and again, and this cycle is known as the vapor compression cycle. This vapor compression cycle helps the refrigerator to be cool and make the food inside it fresh. This is one of the biggest advantages of a refrigerator.
Let's see how the bitterness and sourness of food will ensure the physiological balance in the body.
Hello everyone, my name is Purti and I am studying in class 7C. Today I am going to show you an experiment on natural indicators. The aim of this experiment is to identify the different colors using the natural indicators available at our house. The materials required for this experiment are 2 tumblers, acidic solution which is lemon juice, basic solution which is soap water. The indicators are turmeric powder, beetroot juice and lip juice. Let's start the experiment. Now we need to add the acidic solution in one tumbler and the basic solution in the other tumbler. Then we need to add the turmeric powder in both the tumblers which are containing acidic and basic solution. Let's observe the color change. As you can see, the tumbler which is having the acidic solution, the color has changed into yellow, and the tumbler which is having the basic solution, the color has changed into dark orange. Now we need to add beetroot juice into both the tumblers which are containing acidic and basic solution. Let's observe the color change. The tumbler which is containing the acidic solution, the color has changed into light purple. The tumbler which is containing the basic solution, the color has changed into dark purple.
pH level and oral hygiene. The pH scales goes from 1 to 14, with the pH of being 1 the most acidic and 14 being the most alkaline. A pH of 7 is neutral. The pH of pure water is very close to 7. At a pH of 5.5, the teeth begins to demineralize, putting them at a risk for cavities. A healthy mouth is in a neutral pH range. For example, the crown in the teeth is called as the enamel, which does not dissolve in water, but it does dissolve when the pH in the mouth is below 5.5. Acidic saliva can cause many negative dental issues. A pH below 7.0 indicates an oxygen-deprived environment which puts the teeth at risk for many dental cavities. Acidic food is not the only issue we need to consider when looking at a low pH in the mouth. Conditions such as xerostomia can cause acidity in the oral cavity. Xerostomia decreases the oral pH and significantly increases the development of plaque and dental caries. To keep your teeth healthy, you must keep
oral acidity to a minimum. Teeth can actually become stronger and remineralize when the mouth has a pH of 7.5. All the acidity weakens teeth, but it is the amount of time that the acids are in contact with the teeth. That is what determines how damage will occur. Thank you.
The true spirit of bonding is between the similar and the dissimilar. In nature, the bonding between the like and unlike leads to great phenomena as displayed.
Hello everyone, this is Sai Sharan Ballapuram from 8D Gitanjali Senior School. Today I am going to show you the processes of cohesion and adhesion in action. The materials required for this experiment are 5 transparent glasses, 3 different food colors. As you can see, I am using yellow, red and green, some tissue paper and water. The setup required for performing this experiment are the glasses in this same plane, while the flank glasses and the middle glass are filled with water with different food colors and the tissues forming a network between the 5 glasses. As you can see, the tissue papers are drenched and the water has transferred itself from the glasses which had water to the glasses which were empty. This was possible due to the forces of cohesion and adhesion. Cohesion existed in this experiment where the water molecules stuck together on their journey from one end of the tissue paper to another, while adhesion helped the water stick to the tissue paper to travel from one glass to another. Cohesion and adhesion are useful for helping paint stick to surfaces. Adhesives in glue help two objects stick together. Cohesion assists in bonding of water molecules in plants while traversing from the roots to the leaves for photosynthesis. Adhesion helps in the formation of blood clots to prevent blood loss in the human body.
Good morning or good afternoon to everyone. Today, we 3 friends are here you to present the waterproof shoes.
We can make shoes waterproof using some wax simply at home.
Wax makes the shoe waterproof as it is hydrophobic and it also has a smooth texture which prevents the water from going inside the shoe.
It helps the people who trek or walk in water by preventing the water inside the shoes that make the shoes wet.
Some places of the world which are cold and other layer of cloth can be added to the waterproof shoe so that it traps some air in between and helps our feet stay warm and cozy.
Let us see how an ideal environment at the microscopic level is a reflection of the macroscopic level.
Tonicity is defined as the ability of solution surrounding the cell to cause that cell to gain or lose water. For example, tonicity is the reason why saltwater fish cannot live in fresh water, because if you place a saltwater fish in fresh water which has low osmolarity, water in the environment will flow into the cells of the fish, eventually causing them to burst and killing the fish. A hypotonic solution is a solution that has lower osmotic pressure or has fewer solutes than another solution to which it is compared is called as hypotonic solution. Example is distilled water. In
Importance of tonicity. Having a good understanding of tonicity gives a good insight into how dehydration can affect the cells of the body. Tonicity depends on the relative concentration of selectively membrane-permeable solutes across the cell membrane, which determine the direction and extent of osmotic flux.
Hello everyone, I am Joshika and I am Anna. So today our aim is to demonstrate the importance of tonicity in liquid pharmaceutical operations.
Tonicity is the concentration of the solute. As you can see, we have taken 3 beakers containing isotonic, hypertonic and hypotonic solutions. We have put in raisins in that. If we observe the isotonic solutions, there is no change in the size of the raisin. In hypertonics, the raisins shrink, and in hypotonic, their size become larger.
What happens when tonicity is absent? In case of an animal cell, if we take into consideration an animal cell that when put in an hypotonic solution may break, and there would be an alteration in shape of cell due to which the physiology will be affected. In such cases, an isotonic solution is best because the osmotic pressure within and outside the cell is equal. So there is no net movement of water and the cells will retain their shape and function.
Okay. The moment when natural process ceases, the medical process steps in. Let's watch how.
I am Vyomesh of class 7E. There are 2 magical beings in our body called the kidneys. The main functions of the kidneys are: they help in the purification of blood and by removing the toxic substances from the body. Another important function is that they regulate the water and salt content in the body. This is also called osmoregulation. A person can live a healthy life with one functional kidney, but if both the kidneys fail, it leads to a condition called kidney failure. Here, the toxic substances get accumulated and the body is unable to remove them. This may even cause the death of a person. There are 2 main treatments for kidney failure, namely dialysis and kidney transplant. Dialysis is the process by which the toxic substances are separated and removed from the blood. Hemodialysis is the process by which the toxic substances are removed from the blood with the help of artificial kidneys. The model that I have made over here is blood. What basically happens is that the impure blood is pumped into the dialysis machine. In the dialysis machine, there is an array of filters that are specifically designed to detect and remove specific impurities from the blood. Once the purification process is done, the pure blood is again pumped back into the body as shown here.
The pandemic brought the world closer without compromising on the identity of the individual. Let's prove.
Hello everyone. Our aim is to detect and obtain the patterns of your fingerprint from any of your fingers. Let's start by:
what is fingerprinting? A fingerprint is an impression left by the friction ridges of a human finger. Human fingerprints are detailed, nearly unique, and difficult to alter. They may be employed by police or other authorities to identify individuals. These are a few types of fingerprint patterns.
a few iodine crystals are picked from the container using a sterilized spoon and put into the boiling test tube. A lid is put on and it is burned over the benzene burner until iodine vapors are formed. Once the iodine sublimates throughout the tube, the secretions or unsaturated fatty acids in fingerprint residue will be transferred onto a porous paper, aka white paper. After the fingerprints are obtained, insert the white paper into the tube and quickly close the lid. The fingerprints obtained are yellowish in color. A few drops of starch solution are then added onto the paper in the fingerprint area. This turns the fingerprint into a blue-black color, making it easier for the viewer to identify the fingerprint.
Life continues to sparkle despite the tough times and spreads joy and cheer ahead. Be one with us as you go through this visual treat.
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to present you guys with an amazing experiment, making borax crystals at home. All you need is a pair of pipe cleaners, a borax powder, beaker, a thread, a spoon or spatula, and a pair of scissors.
First things first, I'm gonna put the water to boil. In the meanwhile, we're gonna arrange all the other materials needed for the experiment. Now that the water is starting to boil, we'll take it off from the heat and start making any structure with the pipe cleaners. I'm going to make a snowflake. After you have done making it, add borax powder into the hot water until it becomes saturated. Now for the last part, dip the snowflake into the solution and let it stay for a day or so. You'll observe after a day that the snowflake is covered with shiny white crystals.
What happened, you may ask? I'll explain the science behind it. When borax is added to boiling water, it dissolves completely until a certain stage. This stage is called supersaturation. Boiling water in general is said to be more active than water at room temperature because it is on the verge of converting into steam. Therefore, it can dissolve more solute than cold or room temperature water. But as the solution cools down, it returns into room temperature where it cannot hold as much solute as the boiling water. Therefore, the excess solute molecules attach to each other, forming these gorgeous crystals. Once your crystal ornaments are done, you can hang them on your Christmas tree, give them as gifts, or use them for decor purposes.
May I request our respected principal, Mrs. Maya Sukumaran, to kindly address the gathering.
Very good morning to all the children and our dear staff who has come up with such a wonderful exhibition. I think only it has crossed the time. I was just looking at the time. It has crossed the time, but there was a class to the entire thing. And besides the students coming up with all the projects, what I liked is the way it was compiled. So the compiling part was really very good. And of course, the comparing by every member of the science department. So this is something which I felt was, I think, the best thing that the departments could do. Because we believe in design thinking skills developed in children. And yes, the first step towards it is breaking all the barriers between the departments. So this is a wonderful integration of physics, chemistry, biology, and sports. So this is what now of late I have been saying a lot. Normally there is an integration of maths, physics, chemistry. That is what has been happening in our school for class 9s by Mr. Prasad, and for class 11 and 12 again by Mr. Prasad. So those subjects, yes, I have seen the integration happen, but good integration between physics, chemistry, biology, and sports is what I'm seeing today. And the other day, I saw a wonderful integration of business studies, accounts, physics, and computer science, which are all different subjects which we cannot imagine can be integrated. But this is the way that you all can reach out to the children, and they understand the complete mechanism. In fact, I was quite impressed with what that BORAX that was done by the girl, and it's such a sincere work and so neat finish. The beauty of that was really good. And what I liked about, even the bio projects that were put, say circulatory system, everything had a wonderful model that works, and simple things. Even breathing was a very, very simple thing. But they have done it well. And of course, the application of physics in sports was really very good. So all the departments, chemistry, every department has put in their effort, and the best part is you got together and understood, yes, there can be integration between the subjects. So instead of separately sitting as a physics department, bio department, and chemistry department, I definitely would want to see this happening all the time. Actually, if you know the syllabus, then for you all to integrate is not going to be difficult. And in fact, you will understand that you can teach so many things at one time to the children. And the children will understand the application part. See, otherwise they think that where are we using it? We are not using this, but that is not the thing. No? Where are they using it is they will understand when they see it in day-to-day life, in what you are doing on a regular basis. So to reach out to children, I think this is the best thing that you all can do. You all can, all the departments can get together, and at least a few topics you all can just think of integrating and showing it to the children that integration can happen. So the more the subjects, the better it is, and I'm sure it can happen to any classes, because we have a clear-cut proof of what we did the other day with the commerce students, AS level with 11th B or A, I don't remember which section. It was only recollecting what they have done before. There was a physics application which they have already done before in their previous classes. So all that Meena Shriram came and did was giving the physics aspect to it. Okay, giving them the duty to recapitulate what they have learned before. And Chetna ma'am just came and did the computer science part to it. So what happened is, if an app is built, you are learning that app making right in class 8. So it was a wonderful, like, hardly you take 15 minutes to go to another class, So let the children understand that it is, every subject is interrelated. And this is what we wanted to show everybody, that subjects cannot have their barriers. No subjects, I think, can we say that we cannot apply anything in this. Every subject, may it be history, geography, or for that matter, languages, there is an integration part to it by other subjects. So let's all shed that. In fact, right from so many years, I have been talking about integration and taking a theme for 7th and 8th. And every year we used to just have an integration day. But I feel, let that be every day. Let the integration be daily and not integration be on a particular day. Okay, or for a particular purpose. So keeping this in mind, I'm sure the children have understood that there's so much that I myself have learned quite a bit now from what was shown. Actually, lots. I didn't know fingerprinting is so beautifully done there. It was very, very good. So every topic that you'll have taken, you'll have put in, and the children have done a wonderful job. They've taken the ownership to that project. And another thing was, there was a wonderful teamwork between children. So this is something that teamwork means not wasting your time. Teamwork can be a healthy teamwork wherein you do more things in less time. Why are we distributing the work amongst people? Only because you don't waste your time. But during that, for 7th and 8th, when we had the 6 months where we decided that we'll have more of group activities to teach them how to work in a team. That has been not very nicely done, because half the time the children would meet after school hours, and when they meet for say about 4 hours, there is hardly 15 minutes of work done. Remaining is only gossip, chat, and wasting time. So, which is something which is, I don't appreciate that kind of teamwork. When I say teamwork means the workload is distributed amongst people and the work is done efficiently in a short span of time. That is called teamwork. In fact, the end result of today's exhibition is the teamwork done by the teachers. They sat yesterday evening and they decided on making a storyline to the entire thing. Wasn't it like a story? So there is English involved, isn't it? You heard a story. So everything, if you put it in the form of a story and have a healthy teamwork, I can assure you the work is more efficiently done in less span of time. So be smart and try to learn. There's a lot of learning that has happened today. And if the science department can compress it into a good, small, I would say a story, it would be nice. We could share it with all the parents and they understand the way we have put up our exhibition, how it is done in a different form. So, and how there's a story that is, knit all the projects together. It was not an easy job, mind you. There were so many videos that every teacher had. To go through them was a big task because I myself got involved in selection of a few videos, which was not easy. So, and the wonderful job done by the teachers is taking the best of that, taking the best of this, joining those. I mean, it was not easy. So, but it's a hard work put in by every student. So each one will be given importance. All the videos that you have sent, we have handed it over to the assembly department. And every day you will see one video. Okay, so all the teachers who have collected the videos, please hand it over to the assembly department who will knit one video in every assembly. Okay, so the whole school gets to see the hard work put in by the students. So keep up this wonderful job and ensure that you have learned something today.
Thank you, ma'am, for your words of motivation. Now let's move on to the next segment, that is vote of thanks. We thank the management for their constant support and encouragement at all times. Planning and organizing this event in itself was a great learning experience for both the teachers as well as the students. We thank our principal, Mrs. Maya Sukumaran ma'am, for constantly motivating us towards our goals. We appreciate the students for their enthusiastic spirit. Now, kindly rise for the national anthem.
Jai